Welcome. We will go ahead and begin. We'll start just by bringing awareness, kind of really natural way of just feeling into the kind of the connection to the earth. It's nice to um, start in a way, just to start by physically stopping. You might even close your eyes and feel this is what it feels like to stop. We kind of tune in, like even that feeling like you're trying to listen. When you really are still and you're listening, maybe you hear there's sounds around you. And then it's a unique practice then to listen to your body. How do we tune in and listen? So this is a big part of this class is when we tune in and listen to the body, that actually means that we feel the body. And it helps just to have this moment of stillness. This is why we do yoga poses, where we actually stop in a certain physical position. So let's just notice that, like why sometimes there's kind of a flow and movement in yoga, like flow yoga. But the reason that we stop is because that's when we really do tune in and listen. Now, you're going to reach your arms out to the side, and you could just stop right here. Like just noticing, feeling the quieting, the moving beyond words. And even the physical form of the body, it's that kind of, we move past that superficial awareness and into the energy. Just how do you feel? Because yoga really is about managing energy and balancing our energy. So we're going to inhale, we bring the arms up, wake up. This strength in the body, the exhale, bringing the arms down. And just take a few more of these. This, as we're watching now closely, like even if you do this pretty simple movement, not much to figure out or analyze. We do this, even this little movement to feel deeper. Remembering that we're here in order to deeply connect and listen, we free ourselves of tension, like a relaxed throat, really soft face. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just transition here where we will take a moment laying on our back. So I just want to get the legs moving a little bit here. So as you recline, making sure that even your shoulder blades are kind of flattened down, neck is long, and then you're bringing just your right knee in towards your chest, and your left leg is going to extend on the floor. But this action, we really do, we wake up like strength, we feel like, yes, I'm doing this. Like your left leg is working to straighten, you're breathing through your nose and sensing, listening to your body, how it feels here. And then we just switch. We bring the left knee in, the right leg extends. Feeling, breathing. So there's kind of a moment of just being still and connected. But then as we go back and forth, Again, not a lot to figure out, other than noticing, well, this is a good practice of waking up strength. We all know that um, part of our physical health we don't have control over. There's certain things that happen in the body that we really can't control. So we're here, though. There are some things we can control, right? Like, oh, yeah, it really helps to move. So this is important, in fact. We can't overlook this. No one can do it for us. We can't just pay someone. So here we are, is breathing and moving. Now, draw both knees in towards the chest, and you might even kind of hold your thighs here as you reach your legs out to the side. So they open up, they reach way out, this open kind of V shape with the legs, and then just start to circle your feet around, getting the feet moving, your toes moving. I know this can be like really wake up some strength. But breathe, just let your face soften, relax. Yeah, and then just bending your knees, you roll over to one side. And as you come up here, you're going to all fours. But I want to just keep the arms straight up and down. And just take one leg and just reach your leg back now. Just waking up that strength to, you could even like lift your leg up and push into the floor. Switch legs. So as you're doing this, there's a lot of fine details. You feel that you're doing this, you're breathing, there's no clenching or straining here. Rather, you're breathing. And as you do this back and forth, make sure like your head stays connected, your spine is lengthening, and you're reaching back like through your toes. Now you can move that back foot around a little bit if you want to. Yeah, it's like you're feeling your way into this. Of course, this is, it's going to affect your lower back, how this feels in your back. When you reach your leg back, you might lift your navel up using abdominal strength, abdominal tone to lift up slightly. Now, next time you reach your leg back, you keep it there, but you drop your toes down. Okay, let's curl the toes under on the mat and get specifically that toe stretch, the foot stretch, even your calf stretch. And then just switch legs. So as your leg reaches back, your toes touch down, you curl them under, getting that length through the toes, the flexibility of those toe joints. Straighten your leg, reach back. Good. Now you take your knees down, and we're just going to move into a little bit of cat and cow here. Just good to get. In order to feel your spine, you move your spine. So at first, cat and cow is what is called flexion and extension through your spine. Getting into the movements. You could think of the two ends, like your tailbone is moving, and then the crown of the head is moving. Creating this big wave in the spine. And then we'll transition where we just take the right hand, we reach it forward a little over to the left. And you're going to reach your hips way back here. And as you're here, this is that feeling of kind of sticking your butt out. And then you let your navel lift and it lowers. Navel lifts and lowers. So this really brings a lot of sensation to your lower back, your belly, and the right side of the body. So it's like, you're just spending time in these areas, just getting that whole space kind of unstuck. Everything can flow. Now, as we switch sides, when you come up that left hand reaching forward, that same idea, be very attentive, reaching the hips back, and that little bit of lifting and lowering of your navel. Okay, so when we move, it's not a big movement, but really helps to just feel that space starting to release any tension. Now you just play with this back and forth. And as you're letting it move, there is kind of almost a little cat and cow through your spine, right? As you're here, just letting this explore back and forth. So it's a nice combo of your side stretch and a little bit of the undulating through the spine. This is a good one because that is an area that a lot of the time is just kind of compressed. It gets a little bit stuck, dense, stagnant. So we start out with nice deep awareness there, little movement. Good, and then as we let this go, we come up. So preparing for downward facing dog, your fingers might point out to the sides a little bit more. Grounding your inner hands, your inner wrist, you lift towards downward facing dog. Now go ahead and walk your feet a little bit, but really lift your hips way, way, way up, lifting your hips up. Straightening your arms, but keep your shoulders back away from your ears. Now we're going to let the right leg is just going to reach back, and then you switch, and the left leg is just going to reach back. You can do this in absolutely any way that you want to. Make sure that you're listening. We listen by feeling the body opening to this. Good. And let's come to standing. So you're going to walk forward a little bit, feel your feet. You come all the way up. And as you come up here, grounding. And we're going to take this actually just right into what I just describe as like a marching movement. But it's a little bit slower, and we do it with awareness. That as you're doing this, you're feeling your feet, it's just the foot awareness is so important. Like I'm grounding, and my feet are like they have good energy, kind of springy. And then there's that lift up, not only through their spine, like you're lifting up here, but it's almost like you're lifting out of your hips. This whole up. Feel the grounding, the lifting, the grounding, the lifting. Arms are just doing whatever. They swing us slightly. And your head is just level-headed. So it's really free and easy, but that free and easy is due to the deep strength and the stabilization process here. Like my energy can flow because I'm feeling grounded as I do this. Strong. When the back is strong, the heart just stays open. It's very natural, heart-led experience. Now we just move this into where the feet stay down. I like to point my toes out a little bit and just swinging the arms. Your shoulders rotate here. So when the shoulders rotate, your whole rib cage has that experience of rotation and twisting through your spine. So make sure you don't want to do this where it feels like, you get tighter. So we're have a feeling where this is loosening and softening. Then you got to do this your own way. Noticing how this feels today. Feel your feet really ground. Good. Now as you pause, you're actually going to take your feet wider apart and do our nice little hip opener. Some of these, I know I do these almost every class. But the mindful part of it, we notice that even though it's the same pose, it's different. So we're going to reach the arms out to the side, but practice doing this where you're reaching your arms out, but not sliding your shoulder blades up. It's quite the opposite. Your shoulder blades stay down. You could lift your collarbones. Yeah, get them lifting up there. And then we're opening to the right. So that right foot opens to the right. Even your left foot points a little to the right. And you just start to bend your right knee and straighten. Just doing this a few times. Wake up. There is this, almost this observation. Am I really here? Am I doing this? Good. And then keep the right knee bent. You're just in a basic warrior two. Being still. So we can listen. Feel the breath. Feel the effort. Almost like you remember, like, yes, I came here to do this work. And here I am. I'm doing it wholeheartedly. And relaxing the mind into the present. Listen to your breath. Good. Remember, we're lifting the arms without getting all tense in the neck. Good. Now, as you let this go, you can just drop your arms down and you pivot your feet. Okay? Now here, really feel your feet first and that little bend of the left knee. Lifting up through the spine. It's good to lift up through your spine and then reach your arms out. It's just easier. If we don't do that, it's like, like the arms feel like they're working so hard and the chest sinks, So notice like your arms start here. Like they start at your solar plexus and they just radiate out. Little bending and straightening of left knee. Kind of play with that. It's like it's a really kind approach, like for your hips, like easing into this. Or it's a way of listening to the body as like this little movement, honing in on your position. So now when we keep the left knee bent, like, yeah, I could hold this for a while. Feel strength, but a deep calm. Moving around the brain, there's all this inner space. Your throat is soft. Good. And then as we let this go, feet back to parallel, and then just step the legs into center. Okay, get really nice and tall here in your mountain pose. It's almost like everything is pulling in to the center. And we could practice, go right into tree pose. So we're going to balance on the right leg. You can play like any way you want to of how you approach your tree pose. And the placement. So if you're balancing on your right leg, your left toes point down. Okay. We don't want to get into what, sometimes they call it like the how a monkey will like grip on a branch. You're like, like a bird, like holds on. So we want the soles of the feet to be nice and open. You want to hoist your foot way up to the inner thigh. Still the toes point down. Okay. And then that standing leg, it's like right underneath, you're going to pulls into the center wherever you want with your arms. Feel both the work of this and the connection, kind of the honesty of what's working today. The yoga is when we get really quiet and we listen. Rather than telling our body what to do, we listen. And just stay nice and tall. And you let go of this. And you feel like, oh, well, that pose has awakened just a natural uprightness. And then we go to the other side. No haste, you don't have to hurry. So we kind of study this. One thing we could notice is like, I don't often stand on one leg. So, I really need to take some time and see, well, what's going to work then? Placing your foot again where the toes point down. And the soles of the feet are open rather than that gripping feeling. So you feel like the surface area of your feet nice and open. It's part of like connecting to the earth is that free-flowing connection. Lift, remember still that feeling of the arms, how they start at the solar plexus. Wherever they go, it's like, open across the chest. Quiet. It's quieter and quieter within. It doesn't matter if there's sounds around you. And as you're letting go, you stay tall. It's again like, I'm starting to awaken a little bit, this deep strength. I actually remember a training where they really say, do tree pose in the beginning of the practice to get, just kind of tune in to that deep strength. Let's go ahead and move towards the front of the mat. We'll move through a little sun salute that I'll probably bring in some other goodies. So palms together. There it is again. There's that uprightness that you awaken. And then the arms are going to just sweep up. Then you move into a nice deep forward bend. Perhaps bend your knees so that your belly really does kind of drop towards your thighs. Keep ankles strong here. That same strength that you awoke in your tree pose. Moving back towards downward facing dog. It's good to notice the relationship between your heels reaching down and your tailbone. So if you untuck your tailbone and point it up to the ceiling, often that lifts your heels up. And then keep kind of the butt pointing up as you reach your heels down. Try not to let your tailbone then scoop under. As you move to your plank pose, you pause here and you listen. So it's a quieting experience. One thing what we could play with, here's a little additional goodie, is that you're going to practice bending your elbows and then straightening. Bending, straightening. It's a very isolated movement, so the rest of the body stays like very planky, And then lower down all the way onto your belly. The legs are going to reach back. You could even separate your legs a little bit. So there's some space now to ground your pubic bone. And you reach your heart forward, lifting towards cobra pose. Shoulders draw back. Often we don't even notice that the shoulders are pushing forward. So shoulders back. Lifting. Breathe and feel this moment of just kind of quiet. Now keep your shoulders back and then lower partway down. As you lower about halfway down, notice that your shoulders don't just suddenly collapse down. You're really keeping that nice and wide across your chest. And as we're lower here, then it's often easier to lift your legs. So lengthening, lifting your legs, reach back, maybe move your feet around a little bit. Lots of space in the chest. It's like a test. Can you work your glute muscles, your buttock muscles, without contracting your lips? Yeah, and then we move to down dog. So shoulders stay back away from your ears as you lift towards down dog. Spine lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Good, and then just lightly touch your knees down. So here you are, you're on all fours. I want to just do a little isolated work through the outer hips and just kind of playing with the strength where you take your knees closer together and you reach your right leg back, but it doesn't go straight back. It goes out to the side a little bit. Okay. And then as you switch, you reach that left leg. It's kind of a kicking out to the side feeling. Try not to point your toes out to the side. Your toes stay down. Okay. Do this back and forth. It's similar to the muscles you use when you're skating, when you do any kind of roller skating, ice skating, inline skating, ski skating. So, and just to feel like, kind of push away from the floor. Even lift your navel up as you do this so that you're not reaching your leg back and collapsing down. In that way, you're like, oh, yes, I'm fully here. And then as you keep going, just let this get quieter. Like the only thing you hear is the wind or the breeze of the air moving through your nostrils. Good. Now you pause, and you're going to take your right foot and step your right foot forward. With the right foot forward, move to your low lunge. So that means your pelvis drops down, your back left thigh drops down, and your right shin is straight up and down. Okay? You might, if you want to take both hands to your left, that's fine. Just giving a moment in this nice deep action through the hips. Keep a lift up through your spine. Even close your eyes here. This is a good one to practice opening to this. Your back foot is going to tuck under, your toes are going to tuck under. So it might help to lift your pelvis a little bit, toes tuck under back there, and then we straighten the back leg and we start to lift up. You could take both of your hands up to your right thigh. Moving into your crescent pose, the back leg is straight and you reach your arms up. Really strong, grounded pose. There's both kind of dropping into this and then lifting up through your spine. Feel, breathe, the little details of so important to study this. Now, as you drop that back left heel, you're going to move to warrior two again. So you're bending your right knee, reach it towards the front of your mat, and then the shoulders rotate, and then you reach the arms up. You're back to your warrior two, but then we're going to lean out towards the right. Your right forearm lightly touches your right thigh. Your top arm just moves around a little bit. Really let it move. And if you notice how the lower body, the rest, needs to stay very stable as you move your arm around. The whole armpit chest area moves. Your armpit, like you're getting an energy flow through your left armpit here. Good. And then the arms are going to reach wide across as you move to triangle pose. You can just hold that right hand on your right shin, ankle, and feel kind of a sharpening into this. Like legs are strong, straight, spine is lengthening. Even feel like your back body lengthening, front body lengthening. Navel is in. This head is positioned intentionally, so there's a flow. Now just quieting here. Part of quieting is grounding. I feel grounded. Little bend of right knee, and you come all the way up, facing the front of your mat. You take little steps onto your right leg. How could you move right into tree pose again? very, quiet, and it's like you just don't have an agenda. Just noticing, oh, standing on my right leg. We're sensing the energy in the body. This when we do this work, there might be all sorts of trembling or fatigue, and that's okay. Like, of course. Good. Now, as you bring that left foot down, you just stay tall, open, your full height. Good. We're going to take the arms, reach them up, and then move towards your big forward bend. And let's do a few of these. With that feeling of I feel grounded through my feet, I'm just going to let this flow and move. And that quieting, it just naturally happens when there's this inner harmony. You're not making yourself do anything. It doesn't feel ready. Next time that you fold over here, you just move right back to downward facing dog. Moving into the quiet. And as you move to plank pose. So I always like to offer these little things kind of to play with plank pose. So you could lightly touch your knees down, but then straighten your legs. Lightly touch, straighten. Keep doing this. Don't dangle your head. Sometimes when we drop the knees, we drop our head. We don't even notice it. So, oh, right. Head stays attached. Breathe and feel whole body. Good. And then onto your belly, you lower down, legs go way back, shift your thighs back. Okay? Get that nice opening in the hips. So, shoulders lift, head lifts slightly, open across your heart, even throat is elongated. Lengthen and lift your legs. Now when you lift your legs, your thighs lift up, right? And then keep your thighs lifted as you bend your knees here. Bending your knees, lifting your thighs. Keep your heart reaching forward. Make sure you don't suddenly cave in your heart here. Reach forward. Re-extend the legs. As you lower down here, look to your right side. Mindfully lifting again. You lift up. Lengthen, lift your legs. Just keeping this inner calm. You study this as you bend your knees. So I have my feet kind of flex, like soles of the feet, like they're standing on the ceiling. Lift your thighs. Breathe. Feel. It's good to just stay calm and clear, like I'm doing this. that not being confused by perfection. As you re-extend your legs, heart reaching forward. And then as you lower down, you could rotate your head so you land on like your right cheek. Good. And then as you lift your head a little bit, you just move back to your downward facing dog. So we get that feeling like you're sticking your butt out. You're really reaching back. Even wag your tail a little bit. This is an important movement. So when you wag your tail, it's a slight little lateral stretch for your lower back. Side to side, sides of the body. Good. And then you touch your knees down. You take just a few cat and cow here. Just let this move. It's good. Just doing this. Like, yeah, I'm just releasing any tension. And then letting your left foot step forward. So as the left foot comes up, and as we move to what I call a low lunge, you drop your pelvis down, your hips down, your back right thigh drops down. You can keep your hands just right where they are, or both hands to your right, like whatever feels most natural or what works. It's good to notice if you are dropping your head. So as we breathe here and open to this, you might want to really keep that lift up through your spine. And then from here, you can kind of lift your hips up a little bit as your back foot, your right toes tuck under, straighten the right leg. Now, I usually take my right foot and step it forward a little bit. So when I come up, it just feels like this position, this distance feels right, giving yourself time. Now, remember, left knee is bent, back leg stays straight, and you just let this open up. Staying grounded. There's why I like doing this pose is you really have to be aware of doing this in your own way so that you feel actually balanced, stable as you reach up. So feel the earth, feel the earth, feel the earth. It kind of forces that requirement of staying grounded, connected. Now, as that back right foot, as it drops down, we're going to move to warrior two. So the arms, your chest is going to now face or rotate to the right. You reach your right arm back. And that left knee, you find your distance here, lift your toes, move your feet. Left knee is bent. And then you just elongate, you lengthen out over that left thigh, and your left forearm drops to your left thigh here. Now don't collapse, don't sink, and just keep that right arm. Let it move. Let it explore here again while you are feeling stable. Explore. Notice that, this might feel like just really intense while it's fluid. Now, as we play with just going right to triangle pose, the left leg starts to straighten, and you just reach your arms out to what's sometimes called that T position. The left hand can touch, even hold the left leg, and you grow the length of the legs, the length of the spine. Ah, feel your feet. Connection. And it's that connection now as we're here in this pose. We listen. There's a quieting. A little bend of the left knee as you come up. And as you come up, you face the front of your mat. And you take those little steps forward. And you balance now on your left leg. So it's good to move from such a different shape, triangle pose, up to a tree pose. But there's this same connection, awareness, like, okay, now what works?